Hello guys, welcome back to the Bloom with Becca podcast. I'm your host Becca. Welcome to episode 13, baby. I'm very glad to have you all here. Thank you for tuning in. Today is a way more chillaxed episode. We're catching up. I did a little Q&A on Instagram and you guys asked a bunch of questions and I figured that's enough material for me to run with. So I'm just gonna talk through some things. I feel like there's some aspects of my life, if you have followed me for a while, that I haven't really spoken about, and going through those questions, it appears some people are curious about things. So I hope you don't mind a more chillaxed chai episode as opposed to like a wellness focused advice episode. So I'm gonna go make myself a nice cup of tea and we're gonna have a cozy little catch up. I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Okay, cup of tea in hand. Let's have a little chat. How's everyone's week going? I want you to genuinely check in with yourself today. How are you doing? How are you actually feeling? Are you excited for Christmas? I mean, not everyone celebrates Christmas, so just how are you doing during this winter season? The weather's like kind of gotten warmer in the UK. It's very bizarre. Whenever you hear in the news about potential snow, I know I'm like this. I'm like, oh my God, imagine having a white Christmas. That would just be the best. I don't know if have I ever had a white Christmas in my life? If you live somewhere where it's snowy during the Christmas period, oh my God, I'm so jealous. That must be amazing. Or not, maybe you hate snow, because snow, let's be honest, snow is also really annoying. Yeah, I feel like I don't have a ton of updates because I'm gonna mention the main things in this Q&A, I'm sure. So I am going home this week for Christmas. I actually can't believe it. For me, that's like, okay, so that's the end of the year. The end of the year basically happens now. I mean, like, end of the work year. I definitely will have to do a bit of work like next week at home, but it'll be a lot more chill. I'm really ready to go home. I love London with all my heart. That was actually one of the questions. I'm pretty sure a couple of people asked, like, Edinburgh or London, or where would you choose to live if you could pick Edinburgh or London? And whilst I have very much chosen London, like, it would have been really easy for me to stay in Edinburgh. London offers so much for someone I grew up and stayed in Edinburgh my whole life until I was 22. Edinburgh's like a small city. If you've grown up there, then you get it. It is such a charming place to stay, and I fully understand people who stay. I also can so imagine it being a really lovely place to move to if you're not from there. London and Edinburgh are completely different. Like, you're getting completely different things, but it is one of the best places to live in the UK, if not the best. But I'm very biased. But London, for me and my lifestyle, my work, London works for Will and I. Like, when you're in a couple as well, you have to really think about both of you. And I know Edinburgh didn't offer Will very much personal life and like friends and stuff. There wasn't that much going on for him there. I was very happy to move to the big smoke and try it out, and so far we love it. So far we're like, I can't imagine living anywhere else. Saying that, I'm like, I do love going home for Christmas. My sister is coming down, so she lives in Glasgow. She's gonna come down Friday night, and then we're gonna get the train up together Saturday morning, which I know sounds like the biggest waste. Like, why is she coming down for literally a night? But it's because I have a very needy dash hound. No, to be fair, he's like so well behaved on the train, but I am going home for 2 weeks. I'm going to have a massive suitcase and then probably a backpack, and then having a dog, like, it's too much. I can't do that by myself. So my sister's very kind and she is coming down to help me. She did it last year and it worked very well. I will be taking 2 weeks off of YouTube, off of the podcast. I hope that's okay, but it really is so I can come back in the new year refreshed and make better content for you. Exciting news, I have been working on my Notion planner. If you guys don't know, this year I've sold basically this template I designed for beginners who are new to Notion, because I know how difficult Notion is to get your head around for a lot of people when you first start it, but I also think it's an incredible tool. I don't really think there's anything else like it. But now I'm working on a new one for 2024 and it is just an upgrade. It's better. It's a lot more focused around productivity and like the layouts are just better. It's still pretty to look at, but of course, like all of that's customizable anyway, so I like to make it look pretty. I'm hoping it will be coming out before Christmas, so keep an eye out. I also wanted to put the question out there of like, what do you want for this podcast? I might try set up like an anonymous, I can never say that word, please don't judge me, anonymous feedback system of some sort. But yeah, do you want more guests? Like, what do you want for this pod? Because I feel like we're working it out together, and obviously now coming to the end of the year, it's a good time to reflect. This is still such a young podcast. What else is up? This week is busy, but like in an exciting way. I have just a bunch of plans. I'm definitely in the mood. You'll catch me some weeks where I'm like, I don't want to leave my flat. I am going to see Moulin Rouge tomorrow, the musical. I have a screening for, is it the new Ferrari film? I have like a little Christmas event with a brand. Just really exciting. I have been kind of low in the dumps recently, just because like I can feel myself being kind of harsh on myself, but I haven't been all that happy with like my progress and productivity recently. I've been feeling really demotivated, lazy. I am totally in my lazy girl era right now. I'm struggling to get up, and I know it's like change of seasons and everything, but I basically took like not 2 weeks off of YouTube and work around my birthday, but I like slowed things down so much. And whilst like that's important to do and it's really lovely to do, I then got ill after Milan, and so that was basically like 3 weeks of not being all that productive. And tied in with the end of the year, I've been really reflective of like, have I actually achieved what I wanted from this year? And I know I come on here and I talk about having this healthy relationship with expectations and setting boundaries with yourself, how important self-care is. But it's something it's a message I still tell myself. It's something I need to get better at. Will's really good at like bringing me back down to earth, reminding me of what's good around me, and that I work hard, I love my job, and that's really lucky. Like, I'm so lucky to be here, and I've achieved a lot, and like I should be proud of that. It's easy to kind of beat yourself up if you maybe haven't achieved a couple things that you set for yourself at the start of the year. I just wanted to be honest about that, and also because I look back at myself this time a year ago, December a year ago, I was doing Vlogmas. I was as busy as I could be, basically, with work. Whilst that was amazing, it was an amazing challenge. It gave me a lot of purpose, and I was so excited to be a full-time content creator for the first time. Like I was very new to it all. I'm pretty sure I spoke about it in last week's episode about like why I'm not doing Vlogmas this year, and it's because it wasn't necessarily for me. But I keep catching myself comparing myself now, having this slower December to me last year, and I'm like, I just kind of feel bad and like I'm just being lazy. This past month I've just felt lazy, but life is not gonna be go all the time. I think I just need a really big refresh. I'm gonna come back in the new year, maybe do an audit of my life, like clean the hell out of my flat. Anyway, that's just a slice into my hypercritical brain. And I know everyone deals with that. But anyway, there's no point getting all low about it. I'm going to enjoy my last week in London. I'm going to do all things festive, go home and just embrace this time of year. Okay, let's jump into the Q&A. Someone asked, do you edit all your videos? And someone else actually asked, would you let someone else edit your videos? Throughout the whole time I've done YouTube, I have edited all my YouTube videos, and there was a time where I was like, yeah, if things go really well and I'm quite successful with this YouTube thing, then maybe I'll outsource editing, and then that frees you up to do so much other stuff. And whilst like that logic is completely sound for a lot of creators, if you are, for example, turning your thing more into a business, then it makes a lot of sense to outsource editing. Editing takes so long. But for me, editing is the thing I enjoy the most out of everything I do. I think editing is what got me to be where I am. I think it's what made me stand out as a creator on YouTube. I've pulled inspiration from like a lot of other creators and come up over the years with my own kind of feel, and I know what I like. And now depending on the video, some things feel kind of formulaic. Not necessarily in a bad way. I've just been doing it for a while, so I know what I like. That doesn't mean the process is any speedier, but I can say now, being in a position where very thankfully, I could outsource editing. I could hire an editor. I don't want to at all. I would not do that. It is my baby. It is, again, the bit I enjoy the most about what I do. But no, I'm not giving editing to anyone, and I get inquiries like every day. Saying that, the editing for the podcast is a lot easier. It's a lot simpler. I am pretty sure I mentioned that Will is now the editor for this podcast. He's not anymore. There's been changes with our life. If you watched the episode with me and him, we had just like an unfiltered chat about our relationship. Then you know he was going to leave his job and just kind of work with me for a bit until he worked out what he wanted from his career. That is now no longer happening, which to be honest is for the best, because I'm glad that he has found a spark for what he does again. I'm back to having no editor. I'm definitely looking at hiring an editor though. That will be a new year thing. Someone asked, are you religious? I wouldn't say I am anymore. I grew up with my mom who is Catholic. Honestly, at the time when I was a kid, I didn't really understand like the difference between Christian and Catholic. I kind of thought, I just fell into that whole you believe in God. We would go to church every Sunday. As I've grown up, I no longer practice the religion. I don't go to church anymore. Will isn't religious. However, there's still a part of me that is spiritual, and I still have faith. And when talking about something as beautiful and sensitive as religion, I try not to talk about it all that much on my social media. I don't feel like my platform is a place for that. But this podcast feels like a safe space. I think growing up in a religious household taught me a lot. Something I know religion taught me was showing kindness, always being grateful for things you have around you, the importance of humility and selfless acts. Yeah, there's a lot of good that came from having religion in my childhood. I'm also half Colombian, and so like majority of my Colombian family are very religious. I remember when I was a teenager, there was a close friend of mine who was a very strong atheist, and he's still a good friend of mine now. He's a really good person, but back when we were young, we were kids, he just could not understand how I saw the good in religion, when of course there's controversy around it, and I'm not here to talk about the negatives. I do not think my voice matters in that space. I'm not here to offend anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone. And whilst there was good in what he was doing, he was like encouraging me to think for myself. And yeah, my faith grew a little weaker over the years. I think sometimes faith is a beautiful thing. I think it's a thing that makes us human. And when things are going wrong, you're going through a hard time, there's something really magical about relying on faith and having faith to fall back on. I will also say a big thing when I was younger was realizing that it didn't feel fair to sort of cherry pick aspects of religion that I believed in and not. Okay, something a bit lighter. Someone said, what's on your Christmas wish list? Guys, I told you last week, slippers. I'm definitely at that age where like I don't have a wish list. I just want to know what you want for Christmas. I way prefer gifting to receiving. I'm not saying that to sound like a good person. I'm sure a lot of people relate when like you are older and you make your own money, and like when you want something, you go buy it or you save up for it. It's just a more satisfying thing. Like if you want something, you buy it for yourself. Saying that, like, I still love receiving gifts, but I way prefer if it's just like a surprise. I never feel right like asking someone for something anymore. I remember when I was a kid, it was like, yeah, loads of kids do this, right? You write out a massive wish list, and I would have like, I want a Barbie car, I want Barbie's dream house, I want a cat. So yeah, slippers. Santa, if you're listening, that's all I want for Christmas. Okay, what else? Fave place you visited this year. I'm responding to these Q&A questions in real time. I've like not looked at this. I just feel like it's nicer as a more authentic chit chat. Favorite place I've been, probably Miami. Miami is really, really cool. I mean, America is like uncanny valley. If you go to a big city, like I've only done New York and Miami, it feels scary and very big. But Miami is super, super cool. I just loved how much of a South American culture is there, and Ocean Drive, like all of it's very cool. Feels like you're in a movie. If you could play a part in any show or movie, what part would you play? Oh my god, I love this question. Let me think. Who would I play of any show or movie I've seen? Oh wait, no. This is really easy. My dream role, if I could have played that part, it would have been probably Daisy Jones from Daisy Jones and the Six. That's probably like my favorite TV show from this year. And for those of you who know, I have a background in singing, and I really love acting. So like to bring those two together, and then also for it to be set in is it set in the 70s or 80s? I'm having a mind blank. Pretty sure it's in the 70s. For it to be set in that time, epic. The music, oh my god, the music from that show. I watched the show with my dad, who he is a musician professionally and like was in a band back in those days. We were watching that show and he was like, oh, they just don't write music like that nowadays. And yeah, they did such a good job with that show. The drama, the love triangle. I think it would have been so fun. Speaking of music, I got asked a couple questions about like, what music do you listen to? And if you're comfortable sharing, what was your Spotify Wrapped? Now listen, I am not that person who's like, I don't want to see your Spotify Wrapped, because you know everyone goes and shares their Spotify Wrap, and I don't have a problem with it. Like, I don't care if I haven't spoken to you in 10 years. I want to see your Spotify Wrap. I know a lot of people have a different opinion to that. They're like, why does everyone share their Spotify Wrapped? I don't want to see it. No, I disagree. But I didn't share mine because mine is just weird. I also felt like the only person who didn't have Taylor Swift on their Spotify Wrapped. Now, I am afraid to make this comment because I'm pretty sure I'll lose followers. But listen, I'm not going to say she's bad. I'm not. She's not bad. There's a reason why she's very popular. I get it. But do I? No, I get it. She's not my cup of tea. I've tried to listen to, what is it even? The Eras album? I don't know. And I'm not sitting here trying to be cool and indie. Like, I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I'm sorry. I literally, like, I don't hear what other people are hearing. And it isn't that I don't like modern artists. I'm a massive Ariana Grande stan. This is the first year my Spotify Wrap did not have Ariana Grande in it. And like, to be fair, she's been busy not making music. Well, maybe she's making music now, but she was busy working on that Wicked film, which I will absolutely be in the cinemas watching. But yeah, love Ariana Grande. Okay, this is, like I've said 5 times, this is my safe space, so I'm going to share my Spotify Wrap with you. You're welcome. Okay, my top artist, here we go. Daisy Jones and the Six, shock. A fictional band. If that doesn't tell you enough, I don't know what will. That is why this did not go on my story. My 5 top songs were all Daisy Jones and the Six. Number 2, Ian Audi. If you don't know who Ian Audi is, he's an amazing composer and you should listen to his music. I know, I'm really edgy and I listen to composers. I pretend my life is a movie. Number 3, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Ludwig Göransson. The composer who did Oppenheimer. Number 4, Carrie Underwood. Let's throw some country in there. Why don't we? Number 5, Patrick Doyle. Shock. Another composer. I live my life like I'm a main character. If I'm in the tube, I'm probably listening to Oppenheimer. Did I even like Oppenheimer, the film, that much? Doesn't matter. That soundtrack is phenomenal. Okay, there you go. Don't go spread that because I don't think it's very cool. I think I got the trait vampire and I should probably see a therapist next year. But you can see what I mean when someone asks me the question, what kind of music do you listen to, Becca? I don't know how to answer that. Moving swiftly on, what's happening with acting? You guys know I was doing some acting classes in London like 4 months ago. Basically when I was starting this podcast, I was so excited about it, but the school I went to I didn't love in the end. I just didn't manage to find a new school, and that's like the scary thing when you're trying something new and you go ahead and you talk about it. Part of me was like, don't talk about it, just do that behind the scenes. I want it to be a hobby. I really do. I love acting. But yeah, definitely picking it up again next year. I found a school that I really want to try. They do more like screen acting. I think you actually get to do some camera work and stuff, so that's really cool. House updates. Guys, there's no updates. Okay, that's another reason why maybe I'm feeling a little low right now coming to the end of the year, because my biggest goal that like Will and I were so sure was going to happen was that we would be in our new place by now. If you don't know, we're trying to buy in London. It's a whole process. We have bought before. We're not new to the whole getting on the property ladder. The reason for delay is purely because Will's selling a property that has just been on the market for a very long time. I'm not going into the details of all of that, but basically like that property needs to sell before we can buy. Just being honest, but cross your fingers and toes for me that it happens next year. I really didn't think that we would be in this flat like around Christmas time. But here we are, and that's okay. These things are really out of your control. You know what is in my control? Wedding planning. And I got so many questions. How's wedding planning? Someone even asked, have you got any wedding planning tips? Honey, have you got any tips for me? I need all the tips. But we have decided, like, come January, new year, new start, fresh start, wedding planning begins. I want to get married in 2025. We're going to make it happen. What was your proudest moment of this year? I don't know. I'm going through a few in my head and I'm struggling to think of one. Oh, that's sad. I'm really struggling to come up with one. I think that's something I need to work on because I just get caught up in the fast-paced rat race and what's coming next and where am I not yet. And then, yeah, like a lot has happened this year. There is definitely so much to be proud of. Don't spend enough time thinking about it. I don't think that's good. I think in general, this is a very vague point, but definitely like this was my first full year being self-employed. And I do believe like I have tried my best. I really have. I've tried my best with it. My first year running a business. I know a lot of people don't think what I do is a business. I'm talking technicalities side of it. I am like a registered business, which sounds very weird, but I am Becca Watson Limited. And like I've had to learn so much this year about how to run a business, from taxes to VAT to working with an accountant to managing bookkeeping in a sensible, efficient way. And like all of that has been a huge learning for me. I think that's a skill that is super valuable and it's going to get me further. I feel really lucky that I get to do what I do and I've managed to turn what I do into a little business. And so whilst it's stressful and don't get me wrong, taxes makes me want to pull my hair out, I've learned a lot and I'm very thankful for that. How do you and Will handle arguments? I was kind of hesitant to answer this question because I'm like, oh, that's personal. But then we literally did a really personal podcast together. I think like we don't have a perfect system. For couples who do, I salute you. That's like really healthy if you have a sort of, you know, designed strategic way to handle your arguments. I think straight off, like Will and I are really lucky that we don't argue that much. We bicker, sure, like an old married couple about dumb things. And so whenever we are bickering, it's like, well, the source of this argument is so stupid, you can forget and move on within no time at all. If we're talking like a more serious argument, whatever it is, sometimes it's space, allowing each other space to really think about what it is that's irritated you on a personal level, and also 100% allow yourself time to breathe and reflect by yourself. Resume the conversation when you're calm. Do not have that conversation when you're all heated. Like you're going to say something you're going to regret. Try never go to bed in a bad mood. I found that like otherwise you get a bad night's sleep. But even in the moments where you're like so heated, you're so angry at the other person, I find definitely stepping away from the situation, not like dismissing it and ignoring it and just forgetting about it, because then a problem's just going to come up again, right? But like allowing yourself to calm down before you have the talk about it, being really open to hearing the other person's opinion and why they feel that way. I'm not perfect at this. I'm someone who actually throughout my life I've never been all that empathetic, which that makes me sound like I'm a bad person, but genuinely that's a trait I have. I sometimes struggle with empathy and sympathy and really understanding why something that I think is not a reason to get upset or angry about why that could possibly cause such a reaction with you. I know that's a trait of mine. I know that I could be better at that. And recognizing that as one of my weaknesses definitely helps with like couple arguments. I think the way you word things is so important. If you're trying to suggest something you wish your partner did or didn't do, how you word it really determines like where that conversation is going to go. I think when you like genuinely think the world of that person and you know your partner is a good person and it is just like you're just disagreeing on this thing, then you want to find a point of resolution. What's your relationship like with alcohol? I feel like I've been asked this because I do mention how I drink. I definitely don't think that I have a bad relationship with alcohol. I don't even think that I have too much of it. I think I'm actually a very sensible drinker. I don't really enjoy cocktails anymore. I don't enjoy like your vodka lime soda drinks, just, you know, kind of drinks to get drunk. Shots are fun if it's like a fun special occasion, but like majority of the time I love beer and wine. I love the taste of it. I love a pint. That's my relationship with alcohol. I drink it because I actually really like the taste. I am by no means sitting here recommending alcohol. I just thought it was an interesting question and I appreciate you asking the question. So when I was younger though, like my relationship with binge drinking and like clubbing is interesting to look back on because I hate that world now. I don't even really like staying out that late at a bar. I really don't enjoy clubbing anymore. And I'm not sure I ever actually did. And I think that's played a part in why I don't like it now anyway. I mean, don't get me wrong, if it's like New Year's Eve or like some really big occasion and you're with a really fun group of people, clubbing's okay. But I remember when I was younger, I went clubbing through kind of feeling social pressure and with people who I didn't necessarily like have the best time with. And that's not to speak negatively of those people. I just think I wasn't great at like putting my foot down. And so I would kind of just go along. What do you do on a bad day? How do you like turn a bad day around? Some people asked. Clean my space around me. Like reflect, why am I having a bad day? Am I just really tired? Do I need to allow myself sometimes to take a break? Or a lot of the time I may be having a bad day because something related to what I do work-wise is annoying me. So say like a video is performing really badly. I know that's so embarrassing to say, but I'm being really honest. Then that for sure most of the time is what puts me in a bad mood. And so I know for me, I'd say you need to shut down YouTube Studio and just concentrate on what's next, like the next video, the next project, and just get excited about that, make that better. But some things I do for sure are like mindless tasks around the house that I know are going to put me in a good mood and I'll feel really good for getting them done. So if that's laundry, it's cleaning up my space, maybe I'll go do like a wardrobe purge, switch on a podcast, or just disconnect altogether, digital detox mode. That also helps. Dog walk. Oh my gosh, that is the best way for me to reset. I have a doggy and so it doesn't feel right to just go on a walk without him. Or if it's something really bothering me, then unload to my closest people in my life, who are probably obviously Will, who I can tell absolutely anything to, and I'm so glad to have that like safe space in my home. He's my home, you know what I mean? And then I'm very, very close with my sister. I call my sister every day. She's probably the person on the planet that knows me the most, like second to Will. So yeah, if I need to vent or rant to them, I know they're my people who aren't judging me. They're not interested. I know they're listening fully. I don't love unloading on my friends too much, but in a weird way, I love being that person for my friends. How's your fitness journey? How's your journey with weightlifting? Someone asked, have you gotten stronger at the gym? Yeah, questions about motivation around the gym and stuff. This is the first year I have really gotten into a fitness routine. I'm so proud of myself, and I think that's why I've been feeling low recently, because I haven't been working out, and I definitely feel that now. I will say, like, looking at myself now and compare myself to me like a year ago, I have made really good progress at the gym. I'm not someone who's there every day. I'd say on average, I definitely do like a leg day and an upper body day every single week, and then mix that in with Pilates classes or other workout classes. Yeah, but that's been enough for me to see and feel progress, which has been amazing. I definitely have progressed in terms of I am stronger. This is the first year ever where I've actually seen a difference, felt a difference. I can lift way heavier than I used to, and that's very rewarding. That's like a really cool feeling, especially as a girl who, like, I've always been considered tiny. And I'm not even that petite. I'm 5'3". I'm slim, sure, but I've always been called like the, oh, you're so little, and like, oh, you're probably so weak, let me open that for you. So it's nice to be in the gym and, like, I think, in my opinion, for me, lifting things that are heavy for me. Obviously, I am never going to be lifting the weights that Will lifts. That's not my aim. But for my body weight, for my size, comparing to the weights I was lifting at the start of my journey, I'm proud of myself. It's definitely nice to see that. I can see it in my upper body, like my shoulders. Whilst that is like a fun part of going to the gym and takes months though to see that, and it's very rewarding, and that's like why a lot of people start weightlifting, right? So they can change their body. I, hand on heart, can say the impact it's made on my well-being way more valuable than what it's done for me physically. And like what it's done for my insides, just feeling like a healthier, stronger person, that's amazing. That's where I find my motivation, knowing like it's going to put me in a really good mood. It's going to release endorphins. Okay, I'm going to answer one more because I have been talking for a while. I thought this would be a short episode. Someone asked, do you get tired of creating wellness content, showing up as kind of that girl online? Yes. I sometimes feel like a fraud. I'm being really serious. I think it's been something that's got me down recently, and I just don't want to set unrealistic expectations for other young women that I live this ridiculously healthy, productive life when it's just not like that. Like I have said at the start of this pod, I've had such an off month, and there are so many weeks where I am not in the mood to create a video about how to be the best version of you, being that girl, or my 6 a.m. morning routine. I love being in the wellness space. I think it feels amazing to have a positive impact on my community, and some of the feedback I get from you guys is life-changing to me. It is a reminder that I have been lucky enough to build this community. It feels amazing. But then there's also the flip side of what I do, right? And we call it toxic productivity, or the whole that girl thing being criticized, which I feel like is completely validated. I think as wellness creators have to be very mindful of that. And while sometimes I almost feel like protecting my inner peace by just putting on that persona, it can be tiring. Right now, I'm not that girl. I do not feel productive. I'm really struggling with filming right now. I'm like, I don't think people want to see my life how it is right now. It's a little bit messy. And I think I need a slight strategy change next year, if I'm being really honest. Like, I've always been interested in health and well-being. The part of what I do that I love the most is the cinematography and making something. The last thing I want to do is be inauthentic online. Just creating a video because I know it's going to get views and not because I love it. There's such a fine line, and I know as a creator I have to be so careful that I don't cross over. But anyway, I also love wholeheartedly what I do. And yeah, let's just see what 2024 brings. But I am planning to change things up, and I just hope you stick around for the ride. Okay guys, I'm gonna go because I'm not gonna lie, I'm hungry for lunch. I feel like whenever I end these podcasts, I'm like, I gotta go because I'm hungry. But it's because I sit down here for like 2 hours and I just ramble, and then I somehow cut it down to like half an hour. But anyway guys, I hope you have an amazing week. I will see you next week for the last episode of the year. But this has been episode 13. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for sending in your questions. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Thank you, my loves, for listening to this week's episode of Bloom with Becca. Be sure to follow the Bloom with Becca Instagram page to get involved each week with your questions, your stories, your thoughts on different topics, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys next week for a new episode. Love you. Bye.